Hey guys, it's Angie from the Freckle Craft Studio and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making flyers, but before we get into it, I want to give you a little backstory. Now, if you are not into storytelling, I completely understand. You can fast forward a few minutes if you want to just get started with the project. I won't be offended. So in late 2019, early 2020, when I first started my business, this is how I made my flyers. I would cut up some cardstock paper and simply stamp the front and the back, and that would just be my flyer. The reason why I did my flyers that way is because I was focused more on just finishing the bigger projects that I had, and I thought that the whole, cute flyer thing wasn't really my vibe. And so as my business progressed and it went in a different direction, I decided that I wanted to pretty it up just a little bit. And so I designed this one recently and decided to go with this. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping your flyer simple because I did use this for years from the very beginning. And so now, as I said, my business is shifting and I'm going in a different direction. My pieces are smaller and they're a little more cutesy, if you will. And so I decided that this would be the perfect representation of where I am currently in my business phase. So without further ado, let's get into the tools and materials I used to complete this project. I designed my flyer on Canva. It was the size of 5.5 by 4.25. I used a pre-made template and I just added my brand colors and my logo. I then sent my flyer over to the Silhouette Studio Business Edition software where I copied and pasted the design onto a 8.5 by 11, which is a letter size, so that when I cut them down, I have 4 equal pieces. The paper I'm using is from the brand Koala. It's a cardstock paper that's 85 pounds. The finish is matte. The size is 8.5 by 11, which is a letter size. And in this pack, I had 50 sheets. To cut down the paper, I used my recently bought heavy-duty industrial paper cutter, which could cut up to 500 sheets of paper at a time. I recently made a YouTube video on the unboxing of this, and so if you are interested, check it out. The printer I use for this project is my HP Envy 6055E. The great thing about this printer is that it can print borderless, which is awesome. The ink is pretty cheap, so you don't have to worry about shelling out so much money for ink. Before we start printing, we're going to load our printer up with the paper we're going to be using, which is the Koala one that I showed you earlier. When I was loading this up and I tried to close it, I got an error message and it seemed like it wasn't taking up the paper, so I had to remove some of it just so that it would fit properly and it wouldn't give me any trouble printing. When it comes to printing, make sure to set your preferences to fit your needs. So I go into preferences. I already pre-made mine, but let's go through the settings. So I turn on the borderless. My paper type is HP matte, brochure, or professional paper, and the print quality is set to best. Then I go to the layout and I make sure that the orientation is landscape. Once all 50 pages are printed, it's now time to print on the other side because this flyer is double-sided. So to print on the back of this paper, we're just going to grab all the pages the exact way they came out and just slip them right back into where the paper goes. In my case, I'm going to split them into 25, 2 packs of 25, so that I don't have any trouble printing. Slip it right back in there and then close it. We'll put this stack in after we're done with our first 25 batch because it's better to be safe than sorry. We're going to be using the same printing preferences for the back. Go to printing preference, make sure that the borderless is on, the HP brochure, print quality best, and the layout orientation landscape. So this is the first glimpse of what it looks like printed on the front and on the back. The vividness, the clearness, and the quality of this print is awesome. I'm really glad I bought this HP Envy. It's a really great printer. It's very inexpensive as well. And I'm looking forward to cutting this up. Prior to cutting, I'm going to adjust my movable file and line it up at the 5.5 mark. Next, I'm going to turn my pressing handle counterclockwise until the paper holder is high up enough so that the stack of papers fit right through. Then turn the handle clockwise to keep the paper in place. Now it's time to adjust the slide to line up with 4 1/4. And there you have it, guys. It's that simple to make your own flyers at home. The heavy duty paper cutter was definitely a great investment and a great addition to my craft room. As always, I will be pasting all of the links to the tools and materials used in this project in the description box. I'm looking forward to also showing you guys the other projects I've done with the new paper cutter. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.